Okay, welcome everyone. So let us quickly solve all the science and technology questions which were asked in today's prelims paper. The first question talks about something called alternative powertrain vehicles. So what are these? If we know that what are alternative powertrain vehicles, we will be easily able to handle this question. So these are the vehicles which use some technology other than the IC engines, which is commonly used to power the vehicle. So if there is anything that uses other than the IC engine, we would be able to call them the alternative powertrain vehicles. We can either use a battery, a full battery electric vehicle as it is given in statement 1, or a fuel cell like a hydrogen fuel cell. So these two are correct for sure. The third statement is just a mix of both. We can use a combination of fuel cell and an electric hybrid vehicle. So again, all the three are the ways in which we can get alternative powertrain vehicles. So I think all the three are correct. So C is the correct statement. Now, talking about this question, it is talking about UAVs. So UAVs are unmanned aerial vehicles. Now, if we see the question carefully, all the statements use the word all, which is a very extreme word to use. So there is a very high chance that the statement can go wrong. So it gives us a hint and we could just directly put none, but then it would be risky. So let us solve it properly. The first statement is telling all types of UAVs can do vertical landing, which is not true. Only the ones which have this technology called vertical takeoff and landing. These aircrafts are the ones which can do vertical landings. Otherwise, we will require some sort of runway to do that. The second statement is talking about all UAVs can do automated hovering. Again, if you see, not all UAVs can just hover automatically. If they have fixed wing, you can't imagine them to just be at one place. They'll have to move. So it is not possible in all types of UAVs. So this statement is again wrong. And the third statement said all types of UAVs can use battery only as a source of power supply, which is wrong. In the last question, this question is surprisingly related to the last question. In this question, sources of power supply is used. If you see the last question, we said that we can power the vehicles using fuel cell as well. So this can be directly applied here. Yeah, some UAVs can be fueled by fuel cell. So again, all the three statements are wrong. The answer should be D, none of the above. Talking about this question, it is talking about electric vehicle batteries. So some keywords which we must take into consideration while solving, or the answer would be a little controversial here. So in this question, it is clearly given usually make up. So what they're asking is that what are the materials that are used to make cathodes of the battery. So these are the two commonly ones. NMC and LCO are the most commonly used materials. So NMC is nickel manganese cobalt, and then LCO is lithium cobalt oxide. So clearly we know that if you've heard about lithium ion batteries, then you would be able to take 1, 3, and 4 for sure. But what about graphite? So if they had not said usually, then in very specific cases, graphite can also be used as a cathode material. But in general, graphite is an anode material. And by seeing the questions, they are probably referring to lithium ion batteries. So for sure, they must be taking graphite as anode. So this way, the answer should be only three. uh, but because they've used only usually, I'm taking this option. If they've not used usually, and had they used any other generalized statement, graphite could also act as a cathode material. So we have to keep this in mind. Talking about this question, they have given three generally used things like cigarette butts, eyeglass lenses, and car tires. And then they are asking how many of them contain plastic. So if we see secret buds, they contain something called cellulose acetate, and cellulose acetate is a plastic, semi-synthetic plastic. So partially because it has cellulose, so it has a natural component, and then it is synthesized by us. So it is not found in nature automatically. So it is a plastic. If we see eyeglass lenses, it is made up of, some of them are made up of polycarbonates. So yeah, that is a plastic as well. And if we talk about car tires, this is a very common example of polymer and plastic. So synthetic butadiene, rubber. So all three are plastics. So the answer should be C. Talking about the 45th question, uh, now we are given three substances: ethanol, nitroglycerin, and urea. And they're asking us that by using the cold gasification technology, how many of the following, the above three substances, in out of these, how many of them can we produce by using the cold gasification technology? So first of all, we must know what is cold gasification. I mentioned it in the paragraph written. You can take a screenshot or just write from this and take your notes. But in brief, if I have to explain, coal gasification is a process in which we take coal and then convert it into something known as synthetic gas or syngas, which is a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So this process will make CO. And then by the products of this synthetic gas, we can further do processes, which I mentioned in point two, to produce ammonia. So only urea can be made by this way. Nitroglycerin and ethanol cannot be made using this way. If I have to add some more information to it, ethanol is usually, so they are using some green waste. So if I talk about a green pathway to make ethanol, we will convert biomass into ethanol by fermenting it and doing some processes. And similarly, nitroglycerin can be prepared by other methods, but there is no way from which we can use the products of coal gasification to finally convert it into the above two. So I think only one statement, which is urea, is the correct one. Now, if I talk about 46th question, they've talked about, now this is a very factual question. So the one, people who know CL20, HMX and LLM, they will be knowing that what are they, and if you don't know, you'll have no idea what they are. So it is a very factual questions. If you know, they are explosives which are used as in military weapons. Now, why are they three written together? So I can add to this information. If we take Cl20 and HMX, they are studied together as co-particles, and they are combined with LLM 105, which is sort of insensitive material, and then they are combined together and studied as co-crystals, and the three of them then become safe to use. So probably this is why all three are written together like this. Now let me talk about the 47th question. In this question, there are three statements related to Majorana 1 chip and related to deep learning. So let us see this. This is a very interesting question and it has been in news. So if you've been following it, it would be a very easy question to solve. So and yeah, solving this question does not require you to know all the factual points. Even if you know that second statement is incorrect, you would solve it correctly. So the second statement is saying that Majorana 1 chip has been introduced by AWS, which is incorrect. Instead of AWS, it should be Microsoft has introduced Majorana 1 chip. So AWS has been working on another chip and not this one. So second statement is wrong. Directly by this, all the other options have second statement. So C should be correct. But again, let's just know about the other points as well. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning. This is a correct statement. So actually deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which is again a subset of artificial intelligence. I've given it. And deep learning is the one, the part of machine learning that which uses the neural networks and all those stuff. So you must be knowing a little bit of knowledge would gain you the marks here. Now talking about 48th question. Now this is a very good question. They have taken a new term which has not been very famous if you've not been following the news related to biotechnology, monoclonal antibodies. So they are the antibodies which are lab produced, and then these bodies, and this was by the way given in the Hindu article. So this is an old news actually, but then it has been given here. So they are lab produced. So the first statement is correct. They are man-made proteins. Yes, antibodies are proteins. If I talk about the second statement, they stimulate immunological functions due to their ability to bind to specific antigens. Again, this is a correct statement. And if I talk about the third statement, they are used in treating viral infections like Nipah. So this has been in news. The monoclonal antibodies has been in news because of the fact that the Nipah virus was spread in India, and then we seek to get the some vaccines related to it. Now vaccines to viruses are uncommon, so the technique that we used were monoclonal antibodies. Now we are also trying to develop them in our country, but then we seek the help of USA and Australia to get them when Nipah was spread in the state of Kerala. Talking about 49th question. So this is a pretty straightforward question. Again, they have used no in the all three statements. This is a very extreme word. So probably the statements will be wrong. Statements using directly no, all, or some extreme words like it, because there are always some or the other exceptions in science. So if I just take an example of bacteriophages, I can directly take two statements to be wrong. So bacteriophages are living in oceans, and again, bacteriophages are actually viruses that eat bacteria. In common words, we say this. So no virus can survive in ocean. This stands wrong because see, bacteriophages are the viruses that live in oceans, and again, bacteriophages are the virus that specifically infect bacteria. So the second statement is also wrong for sure. Now, the third statement is a good one. No virus can change the cellular transcriptional activity in host cell. A complex statement. But see, they're talking about cellular transcription activity, the one in which we are copying the data of DNA into an RNA or going from DNA to RNA stage in a host cell. So yes, if a virus is infecting it, there will the way there are two ways by the way, but in one of the ways it will change the cellular transcriptional activity in the host cell and then capture it, and then it may use to produce the virus again. So no virus does it, it's wrong. So none of them is correct. Now talking about the last question. It looks like a huge question and it would take a lot of time, but then it is very straightforward and a very easy question. So if we see the statements, there are three statements, and then we have to see if the statement one is explained by the other two statements or not. So statement one says activated carbon is a good and an attractive tool to remove pollutants from effluent streams and to remediate contaminants from various industries. All in all, it is saying that statement one basically tells you that activated carbon can be used to remove pollutants. So we know activated carbon to remove pollutants in general. So let us see the other two statements. Statement one is correct. So let us see statement two and three, and if they tell us and prove that statement one is correct. So if you see the photo that I have attached at the bottom here, this is activated carbon. So it is in powdered form, and usually powders are the ones that have a huge surface area. If a material is having huge surface area, we would probably use it to absorb certain gases on it. So get the molecules of gas on its surface. So statement 2 is activated carbon exhibits large surface area and a strong potential for absorbing heavy metals. This is 100% correct. Now, if we see the third statement, activated carbon can easily be synthesized from environmental waste like high carbon content. Yes, it is correct. So any material that is having anything in the environment which is having high carbon content, we can just sort of concentrate that carbon part in it and then make it activated carbon. So we can synthesize it very easily. So both of these statements are again telling you that why first statement is correct. So this option, the first one, should stand correct. Both statements 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them explain statement 1. So we can see that all the 10 questions were kind of current related, and some of them were in news. Particularly, a few of them were very factual in nature. So if you don't know anything about them, you probably won't be able to guess the answer out. But they were sort of doable.